Oh, come on, come on, come on. I think that better? Are we there? Dave, are we there? Hello, 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 hello. Anybody there yet? There we go. We're getting some people. Sorry, I didn't give anybody a notice. Just things kind of happen as they happen. We got Josh, the one guy, Dickard with Dave, MSL, William King. We got all kinds of stuff this week, guys. First of all, because I'm not very good at waiting, Logger Wade, and I was actually kind of scared after what I did to him. I love you, brother. Thanks for my stickers, and thanks a lot for the giant box of Get Some. Took mommy 4 hours to clear all of the Get Some out of the living room. Yeah, I spilled it everywhere. It keeps showing up all over her, and still ain't got together. Western. Get Some just don't work in Indiana, I guess, or perhaps it's my approach. So we got a bunch of Logger Wade stickers. Thank you, Logger Wade. And then because I'm not very good at waiting, when I went over to Pennsylvania, the log buyer that I met over there, Wagner Companies, he had a sick hat. And so I asked him what I'd have to do to get a hat, and he said he'd send me one. I completely forgot about it. I got home last night, sent me 2 hats and 2 shirts. Really cool shirts. And then last night we got I got tired of it slipping the other day, so I used my little tool. Anyways, we got a badass new little mount. Who we got now? Wayne Thorpe, Tim Freeman. Still waiting for my stuff, Wade. Is Wade on? Brian Fiera. Brian Fiera is the guy that runs the processor for Cody. So if you guys are wondering who that is, he's the guy that's running that 1238. We found out the other day there's only 2 of them Medill 1238s that were ever painted that color. That's pretty cool. Anyways, we got a badass new little swivel mount that is pretty sick. But the big news is, and it just showed up, so I was like, oh, I'm going to go live. And the Arter. We don't think it's as bad as a first initial assessment was. We think we might have just barely skinned by. It's still going to cost us a couple of days of login, but I think we're going to be all right. So we got this box just seconds ago. This is going to revolutionize West Coast login. And it is hot. Oh my God, it's hot around here. It's like 90. Actually, it's only like 78. My fat, wind-sucking butt. Oh, why do they have to do it to me? Box in a box in a box. Anyways, we got our new. Oh, dun 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 dun. Make sure to keep that so I can send it to Dave. He'll read it and tell me what I need to do. Sound good? Remote. The whole thingy. Battery. This thingy, which Dave will have to read up, figure out where it goes. And that thingy. Now to the Get Some. Here we go. Oh, pretty cool. JVC. I thought it was the first one I got was a Sony, and I got to checking into it, and it didn't have an external mic. No way to hook an external mic up to it, and I was like, we have mic issues already. So I sent it back, and then got another one, and sent it back. This is actually the fourth one. The first one I've gotten, but so it's got 16 times zoom. It didn't have the 32. I couldn't afford the 32 with the. It's got a little jack right here, and I can put either a little jack right there. I can either put a shotgun mic or a light on it. So as soon as I can get saved up, we'll get a mic for it. That'll help us out quite a bit. This is going to help out a lot because we'll be able to zoom right in on the rigging, and I think I still have time to get that video that I wanted to get with the camera kind of behind, looking down on the rigging and then up to the yarder and landing and everything. So this is gonna, and this is what my wife and boys got me for Father's Day. So that's really, really cool. I was really super excited. That's why we went live tonight. But can you zoom with the remote, Alex? I just said we got to send that thing to Dave. It looks like we can record. Oh, take pictures, sound. A couple of buttons. I have no idea what to do with those, but yes, it looks like we can zoom with the remote. So that'll be pretty cool. That'll be very, very helpful. So I'm not working tomorrow because the mechanic's going to come up and just give us the official okey doke on the yarder. And like I say, I hope, if at most, I think it's just going to be a bearing. And if it is a bearing, it's still going to take a couple of days, but it's only like 150, 200 bucks plus whatever it costs, whether we do it or a mechanic does it. If the bearing is already gone and we have to replace the shaft, or I shouldn't say I don't know to bolt in the damn thing. I bet Cody's wishing I did right about now. They don't just make those, they're not laying around. We'd have to have one remanufactured. And we're probably looking, here where I go again, it's going to be spendy. So I really, really, really hope that it's just a bearing. That would be really, really good because I don't think Cody needs to. What happened? Am I off? All of my. Oh, there it is. Now can you explain on live feed sometime how to run yarder? Well, we can do it right now if you want. This is lever A and this is lever B. Just call back on lever A and don't worry about lever. No, I could. It would be a lot easier if we were looking at the dash because there's so many different little. Really, to run yarder, it's easy. Anybody can get in. We have what we call, guys, one drum wonders, and that's these spitter cars. That's what I call a one drum wonder. Because you pick the Skyline up, you set it, and you just work one drum. Boring. But I think that there would be a lot lost in translation if I tried to explain running yarder from the couch. Maybe next time I go over to Crowley's and do a video over there, I'll try to go live because it's in town and I can get Wi-Fi and all that. And I'll try to do it then because I'm really, really, I'm afraid that we would lose a lot in translation. If you're not looking at the dash configuration, and it would be really, really nice to do it in a yarder that's running, and because I think you could. Why the frick would you want to be like me? Loretta. Hey, Loretta's here. How you doing? Everybody, go over and check out Loretta. She's doing some really cool signs too. Actually, I got her working on one for me here shortly too. So, and my Storytime sign is on its way. which I gave Dave a little bit of hell for how long it took, but it's kind of a good thing because it gave me plenty of time to get a few more years of experience in and a few more stories I can tell. See how well that one goes over. Anyways, yeah, I think that it would be better to explain running yarder. And like I say, I got that. Matter of fact, I'll call that Houston tonight because he has that RC yarder and rigged up in his backyard. And I'm supposed to do an interview with him, and he's got a little logging museum. That might be the better time to do the explanation of the yarder because we could, it's scaled way down, and we could see front to back, side to side, all the way around. And he's actually has it rigged up to where he's doing an actual wild bite North Bend system, which is phenomenal. So you would get really the real full meal deal on it. So hopefully that'll work out. No, Josh, I'm not going to be there when the mechanic goes up tomorrow. It was going to be later in the afternoon, and so I'm not going to be there. I have some other things I got to take care of. So from Eastern Oregon, McLeod 1960. What part of Eastern Oregon, buddy? Because there's quite a bit. Tempered Metal. I still want to call him Tig, guys. If you guys, I'm sure you all remember Tig Barcy. He's temperamental now. So, hello from North. Oh, Mud Dog. Chuck Driver flopped his new cat over today. Dicker, did you know that? I got the text. I had the text. I've been trying to message him back. He's all right. He got it flopped back up on its tracks, but yeah, he bought a new, not new, but a new to him Swing Boom 5, I think. And yeah, he flopped it over today. SW, you're at work. Oh, because you're over there. I still haven't got the notice for your choker video, bud. Real McCoy's in the house. What's up, bud? As far as I know, he said he was fine. He'll probably be texting me here in a minute. I'm kind of surprised he's not on here, to be honest. Did Dickard jump off already? Someone is cruising. What? What's going on, Dickard? John Day. Oh, fun. My dad lives in Christmas Valley. And when we went to Pennsylvania, I went through Christmas Valley out through Burns and John Day, right? I think. I know I stopped at some little po downtown that I didn't spend much time in. You were cruising for bruising. And Dickard thinks he's figured out how we can go live together in separate places. So we're going to try that here pretty soon, too. I think that ought to be pretty cool. Lapine. I've been to Lapine. Because Lapine is north of Bend, right? Pine Sisters Bend. Sisters Lapine Bend. Anyways, same guy, just a new job. Lots of love from Oak-Tig. Be safe out there, brother. Keep that thing rubber tied down. How fast can you pull in a turn with a yarder? Depends on what yarder it is. If you're running a TTY 6170 fifth gear wide open, they'll do. I don't know the foot per second, but they're fast. You don't when you're running yarder and you're spotting the rigging, you count wraps is how you know where your rigging crew is. And then when you're out a long ways and you're coming in, so that you're not watching the carriage, you're watching your drum. You're supposed to be counting your wraps. But these newer yarders are so fast that you don't count wraps. You count full layers, 1, 2.5, back out of it. Uh, and they're smoking ass fast, smoking fast. That 210 diamond, it's got 6 forward and 4 reverse, and my God, it don't have a whole lot of power to be like really putting the wood to it. But if you can figure out the perfect turn size every time, oh Lord, that thing's hard to keep up with. I mean, whether it's clear cut or a thin, you keep that diamond under about 1,600 feet, about 45, 50 feet of lift. So you're picking about 3/4 of the log off the ground. There's not very many rigging crews that'll keep up with them because they flat just boom, boom, boom. They're so that's another question that's kind of hard to answer because of, and they do have the line speed figured out. I just never checked into it, so I can't ask and try to find that out for you. All right, my dog. Be safe out there cutting that hay. I quit doing that a long time ago. Chuck said the other day, "You guys gonna come help me put my hay in?" I was like, "Nope." I quit doing hay when I was 16, buddy, for a reason. Thank you very much. Anyway, so yeah, that's why we jumped on here tonight because of all the new goodies and stuff, and I was excited. And Zachary Sheets put it. Yes, he did. He did. I just watched it. Actually, I just commented on it. I thought it was pretty neat when he brought the drone right in against the grapples. And I was hoping he was going to fly through it. I was like, "Oh, come on, come on!" But he didn't. But speaking of drone video, if you guys haven't checked out Blue Line Landworks, that guy has got the drone figured out. I mean, he's got some sick drone footage, and he's actually only a couple hours north of me. I've been wanting to try to get up there and see if maybe he can't help me with a little bit of better drone. Thought the same. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to. I was like, oh, please go through. But there's another, and I've said this before. If you watch that video, it got almost a brand new log loader, almost a brand new Wartaw sitting on I think that's a Komatsu. Anyways, they got six, seven, $800,000 worth of brand new log loader and yard processor, and he's got a GT3. I'm like, come on. And then they piss and moan and whine about yarders not getting enough wood. Well, when you're yarding logs with a $70,000 yarder, that's what you're going to get. But I also see what they're because he does a lot of shovel logging, so that's where the newer shovel and the processor comes in. I just I'm a yarder logger. Hey, Nuts. Alex is holding me up. Oh, Nutsy's here. How you doing, Nutsy? How's the foot feeling? These MSL, these new drones they've got out, they'll blow you away. What they can do, you can just pick GPS points and pick that thing up and let it go, and it'll just sit there and fly around in circles, and it knows when it gets out to a certain. Let's say it flies out 13 minutes, and it has 14 minutes of battery life left. It will turn and just come right back to where it picked up from, and it has object. Some have object avoidance, so you don't have to worry about if there's a barn. It's pretty cool, and that's where I say Blue Line channel, Blue Line Landworks. I'm pretty sure. I think he's on here. I told him I was going live. It's Craig Murray. I'm pretty sure it's Blue Line Landworks. Um. Anyways, sidetracked me again. How long before drones can? They're already making layouts with them. So, and as small as that wood is, we're logging right now. Wouldn't take much of a drone to yard that stuff. Man, I can't. I don't know why they're taking such a big chunk of that too. Because the biggest log we've got on this whole unit is like 22 inches on the butt, and that's not very big. There's, I mean, Brian bucks a lot of stuff that is barely 10 inches, 11 inches on the stump, and that's I. Yeah, Kev, that's why the camera, yeah, I should have bought the camera before I bought my drone, but it's the way it happened. But yeah, so we're slowly trying to upgrade. Yeah, Brian says straight garbage all morning. Yeah, he didn't buck a log all day today that was over 15 inches. If I had a drone, I would break it. I wrecked mine the first day. Oh, had to buy new blades and everything. So, anyways, Nelly, go grab the link. What link? How does it feel? God, that's hard. What do you mean? But you mean like when it comes in a hang up, or if it's bouncing up the stumps as you're pulling it in? Because there's a different feel. And there's a different feel when your log comes up against a hang up and when they clamp the carriage. Completely different feel. Because if you come into a hang up, whether it's a stump or a rock or whatever, your line will almost feel like it stretches, and you can, and that's when you gotta start thinking about, uh, you got to start thinking about backing out of the throttle and whatnot. When it comes up and they like miss a whistle or whatever, and the clamp hasn't opened, the line doesn't stretch. It's just a dead, and there's a big difference. Um, it God, it's so hard to explain. I wish, because if you're coming across and let's say it's a heavy enough turn that it's peeled the skyline, and you're laying the cob right to it and coming up the hill, and it comes into a hang up, 99% of the time, the choker breaks or the skid line breaks. And it's just a um most of the time your hang ups happen when they're coming out of the beds, because you're picking them up in different, and so you really don't feel it. The only thing you feel is when shit goes to hell. And that ain't a good feeling, I'll tell you that. Especially like with that 071, if you break the skyline on that tube can go over backwards. And that is not a pretty sight at all. Um, that's why if you look at the videos, you'll see that tube is leaned way out there. It looks like it's leaned way out there. That's the way they're designed. Because if that skyline breaks and it breaks close to the tube, there's no weight holding, because you got the guy lines are trying to pull you back and the skyline's trying to pull you forward. So if that skyline breaks, it will go over backwards. And then it comes up into them static guys. That's what'll keep it from going completely over. But if you break that static guy, then what'll happen is the tube will stay up, but the carrier will flip either forwards or backwards. And that's ugly. I wish about 2 weeks before I started doing videos, a company I work for, they broke a static guy and the carrier went forward. Oh, excuse me. And as soon as they tried to slack the skyline off to do anything about it, then the tube fell over backwards and binged it up pretty good. Have I had a carriage run away from me? I have not. Actually, I'll tell you a really good story. Was working on that TMY 50, and Adam was with me for card logging. It's one of the steepest, nastiest, dirtiest jobs I've ever been on, and had strict instructions. If I was not on the rigging or at least making my layout or whatever, them guys were not to be out on the hillside because it was steep. It was scary, nasty. In the draw, the very bottom of the draw, these Acme carriages will spit out over 800 feet of line in a minute, and it was taking a minute and 6 seconds to get the chokers down to us. So we had over 800 feet of left. So to combat some of the time of picking everything up, once the logs would come up and everything was safe, we'd uphill him. And that's where I say you count wraps, and you because you know you're coming still coming straight up, or a good engineer does. And so if the rigging slinger misses a whistle or whatever, you're counting. And God, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but after 2 turns, they don't have to blow whistles. I can bring that thing up and stop it just before the tee hits the bang plate. They could open it and bring it in. Anyway, so we've been fighting, not having a yard engineer, this, that, and the other. They finally hired this guy, and they bring him out. My dad's running shovel. He rides out with me and the crummy, and our woods boss come out. Shop bitch is what I called him, to just make sure everything was good. The guy was supposed to have like 20 years experience. So my dad swings the shovel around and he says, "Hey." And I go, "What?" My dad, he was hard to work for. He's an asshole, but he got a lot of logs. He said, "I walked off of one job in my life, and that son of a bitch was running yarder when I did it. So just be careful." So, anyways, we give him a few hours, and we're talking. We have handhelds and everything. So I tell him, "Okay, we've got so much left. We're going to start up hoeing you. We get close, we'll slow you down, stop you, open the clamp, and ship it." So he does it 4, 5, 6 turns, and they uphoe him. They're picking a turn up. I'm watching it in the back end, and I'm thinking, "Man, you better start backing out of that thing. You're getting close. You're getting close. You're getting." I start screaming over the handheld, "Clamp it!" I just wanted them to clamp it. They tried to catch it, and they didn't. And they tried to open the skyline clamp and close the skid line so to just take off. They didn't get it in time, and he sucked the tee right off. So here comes a whole turn of logs. The only thing, they were in the clear, so that saved their lives. The carriage stayed there. I was pissed. I'm freaking out. I'm telling the shop guy, I'm like, "You better make sure that guy's, counting wraps and whatnot. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it." About an hour later, I finished my layout and I'm in the back end. And they're up front. We're going front and back. And I send a turn and I uphoe him and he's going and going. And I hear him shifting third, fourth, fifth. I'm like, "What the F are you doing?" So we have plenty of time. I blow him a stop. He doesn't back out. So I clamp the car and blow along. Well, he doesn't, he stays right in the throttle. And when I clamped it, he hit the bottom of it so hard that carriage flipped back and forth like this, and the clamp come off the skyline, and it took off. I'm laying on the long whistle, just I'm squeezing it so long the yarder's running out of air. The brakes are setting. Our shop guy, comes from around this side of the yarder, around the front, climbs up the ladder, comes in the cab, reaches over and throws the skyline brake out. By then it was too late. That carriage comes back and it hit my strap and shackle